I'm Lisa from ProWritingAid, and my guest today is Kevin Tumlinson. So Kevin is an award-winning and best-selling thriller author. He's also host of the popular Wordslinger podcast, and he's the director of marketing and PR for Draft2Digital, which is the leading ebook publishing and distribution platform online worldwide. So hi, Kevin, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
No problem. So we're going to run tonight's session a little bit different from what we've been doing before. Normally I just disappear and then we do questions at the end. But what we're going to do tonight is Kevin is going to share his screen and take us on a bit of a walk through all of the whole platform. And I will keep an eye on the Q&A box as we go along. So if there's something that he is explaining or that you want a bit more information on, put it in the Q&A box and I will try and catch it and present it to him and ask for a bit more information there. So that's a little bit different from usual, but does that work for you, Kevin?
That works for me. It keeps me from talking to myself the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Well, do you want to go ahead and share your screen and
Yep.
bring us into the world of Draft2Digital? I think a lot of the people that were here tonight were at Nick Stevenson's talk where he mentioned Draft2Digital. So hopefully a few people have already had a chance to check it out.
All right. So first up, I am Kevin Thompson. This is Draft2Digital, and for the most part, this should be a pretty easy walkthrough. But I know that some things can get a little complicated and questions can pop up. So feel free to ask me anything, anytime. And I'll do my best to answer. I have to resize that just a little. Okay, so first up, when you go to, right now I'm on the alpha site. So you would ignore the little alpha in the URL bar, but if you went to draft2digital.com, you'd get a page exactly like this. And I'm already logged in, but once you log in, it'll look like this. And you can actually click on the My Books page. And this is where you would, if you've already loaded some books, like I have some here, you would see all of this this stuff here, and you can click through. There's various things that we offer in terms of, data that you can get on the book, like whether or not it's finished. Right now, these all say preparing to publish and publishing, but these are all little color-coded blocks. Because this site doesn't actually publish, these will never become the green that we all want them to be. But here you can actually kind of cycle through and check all your stuff. You could also add a new book.
That's just because it's the alpha version,
yeah.
right?
Yes, because it's
like
the
a
alpha.
practice version of the page. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
this is our staging site where this is where we're free to break stuff and it doesn't affect all of our users. So, and I'm the one who usually breaks everything, so I'm only allowed to give demos on this. All right. So in here, if what you would normally do is you'd click add a new book, and because we made a recent update, there are two different paths you can now take from this page. You can either do an ebook, or if you're in our print beta, which soon should not be a beta any longer, you will be able to do a print book from this page. But to start, you would come here and you'd upload your cover art. If you don't have cover art, you can say that. Cover art is required for certain aspects of the site, but largely you can get through the whole process and come back and add a cover later. This page lets you enter things like this is all what they call the metadata. So you would type in all the things related to helping a reader find your book. So the title, if it's part of a series, like I've got, the Get Off My Lawn series, and I've got, you can have your own publisher name. By default, when you set up your account, whatever name you use when you set up your account is the publisher, and you can choose that if you want, or choose nothing really. Actually, no, I think it does require you to choose a publisher. Or if you have, like I have a publishing imprint called Happy Pants Books. And so when I publish my books, I publish under that imprint. So that's where you'd identify that here. And then you can add, if you have like co-authors, you can add them here. Or if you have a different author, like I've got M.O. Mann, I could take self off of this book. So if I'm his VA or something, I can actually set up his book for him. And that stuff gets taken care of here. And then down below, this is the BISAC categories. This is when you are looking on Amazon or Kobo or elsewhere, and you start looking at the categories for a book. This is the industry standard list. So, I write thrillers, so I could come here and type thriller, and it'll narrow the list down for me to fiction, and I can go through and choose whatever kind of thriller I write. So, whatever. I can just pick, I think you can pick up to like 5 categories or so on this page. And you'll see them populate over here. If I did one by accident and I want to take it off, I can just click that guy and it goes away. You can even change the priority, and the priority does matter because with most of the services, Amazon's one of these. Whichever the first 2 categories are, those are the ones it's going to use. I think it even ignores everything after that. But if you have those first 2 and you got them in the order, those are the categories it's going to list your book in first. And then you can add key terms here, or we're thinking of changing the language of this because we call them search terms. Some people call them keywords. But this is where you would type in all the keywords that are related to your book. And there's all kinds of ways to do keyword research, but this is how Amazon and search engines and a lot of the retailers, this is how they allow readers to find a book, or how they find additional categories for a book. So, I can put spies, dogs. I can put anything I want here, but I want to make sure that it is related to the book and will help people find the book. So,
how specific do you want to be? I know that's a question that's come out before.
Yeah. So the wisdom on this is you want to make sure that these terms are specific to the type of book you can do phrases as well as terms, by the way. So who love dogs? And you want to kind of think in terms of how is someone going to search for this book. And one way, there are tools out there. There's one called Publisher Rocket. It used to be called KDP Rocket. That's Dave Chesson's application. Pretty inexpensive, but it's a keyword research tool. And what it will do is allow you to plug in keywords and see how they rank on Amazon, and see if you're going to get into the area you want to be in, and how much competition you have for that term, things like that. So ideally you want a keyword or a search term that it doesn't have a lot of competition, but has a high volume of people clicking on it. So, you want to get as close to the middle on those numbers as you can. Did that answer that question? Or because it's a very involved process.
I think it's one of those things that you can spend hours and hours and hours of your life on. And I do. How long is a piece of string question? But
it is kind of like that. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Alexander has asked a question that I don't understand, and I'm not totally sure I can pronounce properly, but I'm going to try. He says, do the search terms support Boolean inputs like and or?
Oh, like and or, and not really.
Sorry, Alexander, I tried.
No, he's talking about Boolean logic, and it's a lot of search engines use. So Google, for example, you can use like and or in order to refine your search. Amazon may actually use that. I actually don't know that for sure, but I do know that when it comes to these keywords, it's a little different because they're not being used as specific search terms in quite the same way. They're the target search term. So if I'm the reader, I'm going to type in something like spies and dogs, and the system in Amazon, which is essentially a search engine that has a retailer associated with it. But the search engine on Amazon will say, okay, well, Kevin's book includes the term spies and the term dogs. So they may actually be using some Boolean logic in that as well. So I hope that answered that question. Okay. And then in addition to like a title, which I didn't enter, you can enter your volume number. We do include these if you see an orange question mark, I'm actually thinking of getting some t-shirts made that have orange question marks on them so I can wear them to conferences. But this means that you can get more information about that field.
That's how it works in ProWritingAid as well. So hopefully everybody here, if you
we stole that from
you get your little orange dot.
We totally stole this from you guys.
I knew it.
No, I don't think that's entirely true, but it's a pretty standard thing. But the volume number in this case is the order of this book, the numbered order of this book within the series. So if you selected a series, And you don't have to have a series. If it's a one-off book or, you know, standalone in some way, you just leave this as this little line here, and you don't actually even get the option to enter this. But everything else stays the same. And then at this point, it's choose your own adventure. You know, you can choose to start an ebook, which that's the majority of people we have using us at the moment, or you can start the print book process. And they're very similar, but just to kind of keep my sanity and your sanity and the timeline down a little, I thought I would just, for the moment, focus on just the ebook stuff, because we have actually, yeah, and we have a magic tool. Either path will lead you to the same place is really the truth of it. It was just that some users wanted to only use us for print. And so we broke that out. But even if all you're doing is an ebook and you decide later you want print, we have an ebook to print conversion tool built in. And I should probably say, you might notice no dollar signs or price tags anywhere. And that's because we actually don't charge for any of the things I'm describing to you. Everything that we offer is free. Even if you don't distribute through us, you can use all the things I'm showing you for free. Get your ebook, get it, and take it and download it, and go upload it somewhere else if you want. And don't even use us. The only way we make money is if you distribute that book through us. It ends up being about 15% of the royalty, and that's the only way we make any money off of you right now. I've been arguing for years that we should figure out a way to charge authors more money. That's sort of a half joke.
Don't do it. We like free stuff.
So I've already set up this book as a print book. So I thought this might be perfect to walk through the ebook side. What I clicked on, let me go back because I don't want to confuse anybody. Once you've gone through the whole process, you'll get this little menu here, and so that print book that I set up earlier is in the process of being prepared and then published. But it gives me all these other options, and so this little page icon means ebook. We have a little book icon for print, and then this is audio. And we can port you over to. We have a partner for audiobooks. It's a company called Findaway Voices. And they operate very much like us. We don't own them. We don't have we have an affiliate relationship with them basically, but we can actually transfer your manuscript to them and help get the account set up and everything. And they do actually charge there's production fees, but only if you go through them to get the narrator.
Okay.
So, and I'm happy to talk about that, but it's sort of a left turn off of what we're going through today. I know everybody wants to talk about audiobooks.
Yeah, we already had one. So, but that
right, good.
sounds good. Great.
And you should talk to Will Dagus from Findaway Voices. If you want, I'll hook you up. He will talk your ear off, and those guys are brilliant. But for today, we're going to take a look at the ebooks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get us to, so because I've already done the print, it has this start ebook option on this page. But this would be after we entered all that information on the previous page I was walking you through. If you selected ebook, you'd come to this page. So this is that blue branch. So ebook is blue, print is yellow or gold. I like to think of it as gold, and audio is red. So here we are on the print book page, and then here's where we get to start actually building the book. Now, because I did the print version of the book, I already have this copy in here for the description. It ported all that over for me automatically, but I could type this in. We got some formatting tools. You can see there's some bullets. I could copy and paste this from a different document. So there's a lot of control over it, and there's some limited HTML for those who like to tinker with that. But it's not much. I don't even think you can use header tags, and that's simply because most of the sales channels won't allow the HTML for some reason. So they'll allow some basic formatting, but they won't allow like the header tags and the strong tags and things like that sometimes. So all that stuff is kind of baked in here though, so you can get some control over it. But this is where you would not only upload your file, which I have a print file, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. And let's see. I believe that is on my desktop, right? Okay. I tried to make this simple, but you still got to navigate to everything. So we are doing hoarding gold and other precious metals, and I have here a Word document. Now you can upload a Word document, an RTF file, or even a pre-made EPUB file if you want.
Okay.
And if you upload either a Word or RTF file, we have a conversion tool that will convert that to all the popular ebook formats. Everything is standard, which is really only two, which is EPUB and .mobi, which Mobi is Amazon's format, and EPUB is everyone else. But we'll also create a print-ready PDF that you can download, and that is actually you could use that with a publish-on-demand service. If you didn't want to wait for D2D print, you could go to Ingram Spark or one of the others and use that PDF. So and we've got some other features built in that will help with the formatting. I'll get to that in just a second, but you can see here.
So this one, you've just uploaded a MS Word document?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yep. And we'll do docx, DOC. Here's the whole list. So .doc, docx, RTF, or you can upload a formatted EPUB. So if you want some fine control over it, and you're good with one of the various tools for creating EPUBs, you can certainly bring in your own. Or if you paid someone to format, which I don't recommend because there's so many free tools for doing it, but I use Vellum, for example. So I format my own EPUBs and I bring them in. They look exactly the way I anticipate them to, and that's all good. And I really only use it because it existed before we had some of the templates and layout features that we now have. And I'd already paid for Vellum, so I'm getting my money's worth.
Get your money's worth. Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Okay, a little side note here. One of the clever sort of hacks that you can use Draft2Digital for is keeping a clean version of your document if you ever need it. So you can actually re-download your Word document from here. So if something happened, your hard drive crashed or whatever, we are a secure offsite backup for that file. So that's kind of just a bonus, but we do allow you own your stuff. We're never going to own anything you upload, so you have a full right to have it all back, including the PDFs and files that we generate on your behalf.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions here that I'm going to stop you for. So Scott wants to know, when you upload the file, does the file layout format matter a lot? Do you need to get all of that?
So it is.
Before you upload it?
Yeah, it's to your benefit because we have an automated system and I'll show you in just a second, that will identify the headers and make those chapters. And it'll also look for commonly used symbols for scene breaks, like 3 asterisks together, or something along those lines, and it can make those scene breaks. So if you are using Microsoft Word, or if I write in Scrivener and I spit it out in Word, you want to make sure that it does use headers, the Word's built-in headers for all the different chapter heads. But because we take RTS, you don't necessarily have to use the headers themselves. If you will bold it and make it larger than the rest of the text, we detect that as well. So it's not always perfect, and that's why we actually have a stage in there where you can say, look, these aren't my chapters, and then you reach out to us and we fix it for you. So it's one of our big things is we're here to support the author through the entire process. So if you get in here and something goes sideways, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. And we have real live humans sitting in Oklahoma City who speak perfect English and write in perfect English, and they will help you settle anything that's wrong. So
okay.
So
I've got a couple. I've got Dwight
ahead.
and Christine are both. Christine has a lot of graphics in her books, and Dwight is wondering about picture books. How does that work?
Yes. Everything is possible, but it's not always advisable. That's the old adage, right? So if you have a lot of images, your best bet is to go ahead and give it a shot and see if you've noticed any issues, and then you can report the issues. And we've got people on staff. One guy in particular, his name is Steed. Uh, they're
Ask
very
for
good
Steve.
at, he's a good guy. He's very smart, and he knows this formatting stuff inside and out. And he can kind of help you figure out how to fix any image issues. One of the challenges of ebooks is they are literally designed to be resized on the fly by the reader. So keeping images synced up with where you think they should go with certain text, like keeping charts and things like that, it can be just near impossible to do. That said, most people leave their stuff in the whatever default format it is, but from device to device, it can shift and change. So if the images you're putting in really have to be aligned with a certain set of text, you might want to look at getting formatting outside of us, just so that you have finer control over it. But I can tell you, it's almost always going to be the end result is it's not going to be the way you wanted it.
Okay.
We've had authors who get really hung up on the fonts and things like that, and you have zero control over what font that reader decides to read in and what size it is and any of that. You can't
Well, which is
control it.
great. I mean, I use my e-reader all the time, and I love that I can choose the font and choose the size and all of that, but I'm sure it drives lots of authors crazy.
It does. Some authors get really hung up on it, and I totally understand why. But you know, as the Disney song goes, let it go.
Let it go.
And the other question was picture books, right? So, ebook format is really not a good format for picture books. This isn't a limitation of Draft2Digital. It's a limitation on ebooks. Apple has some tools that can help you build an ebook specific for their platform, a picture book rather. And it can be done. We can actually do picture books via ebook, but the result is almost always kind of lackluster. It's never quite what you really want and need it to be. That said, I mean, we have helped people actually do this. So again, my advice is, pop that in there and see if you're getting the result you're after. One thing to keep in mind, though, adding images does increase the file size, and there are still services out there, draconian though they may be, who charge they charge delivery fees based on file size, which can cut into your royalty. Now, Apple just recently announced they're no longer going to do that, no matter what file size is. But there are some others that shall go unnamed who still charge you for delivery. So just bear that in mind. It's not a super hefty price, but it does add up. If you end up with several thousand people downloading your book, I mean, it can add up to $20-$30 a pop or whatever. Not a pop, but overall, So,
okay,
were there
great.
other questions there?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of questions here, but I feel like we could be here all day. So let's carry on.
I want to answer
almost
questions.
halfway through our time already.
Okay, let's burn through. Okay, so here I'm going to go through a little quicker. But here's where you set your release date, and if you want to set up a pre-order, you would just set this in the future, any date you want. We got the description. This the closed door button in an elevator. Mm-hmm. This is like that button. It doesn't actually do anything, but it's there to make you feel better. Because everyone's always asking us, how do I add, I want to add my designer as a thank you. No retailer uses that information. None. We can give it to them, but they're not going to use it. So we put it there because people ask for it. Just being honest. Okay, and then here, if you happen to have an ISBN, and in some countries, Canada is one of these, you get an ISBN for free. In the U.S., you do not. So you have to go through a service called Bowker and buy the ISBN if you want it. But what we have found is that when it comes to ebooks, ISBNs make zero difference. They're not used. The retailers have their own identification numbers that they assign. Amazon has like their AISN number, AISN, to not be redundant. But if you want, some retailers, however, like Apple, do use the ISBN, but it doesn't matter who's listed as the proprietor of the ISBN. You can always assign your own publishing name. Your name is associated with it. So if you really want to save some money, you can get a free ISBN from us. We don't get anything for this. We don't make any money off of it or anything. We don't own your book in any way. It's just a free service we offer to help authors along, because some authors didn't realize they needed ISBNs. So we just assign one for you. Or you can bring in your own. It just can't match your print book. The ISBN has to be unique to this book. Right. All right. I don't want to skip over things that might be important, but I'm trying to move us along. I think the alpha site may have gone to sleep on me.
Oh no.
We're gonna see.
Okay, well that's all right. We've got no shortage of questions.
Ask me another question. Yeah.
Suzanne in Vancouver wants to know, if you upload your book formatted for print, does your program keep the drop caps?
Yeah, if you're using us for our print on demand service, yeah, we keep, if you've got it pre-formatted, absolutely. And in fact, our formatting tool has drop caps and small caps and some other options. Okay, we came in. Okay, so this page is a kind of a reflection of the previous two, and this, you can see it's step 2. This is the layout page, and this is where you can check your chapters. Now, the book I uploaded had a bunch of chapter headings, so you can see them there. And if I had a problem and they weren't right, I click this button and I'm put in touch with our support team and they'll fix it. But since I'm converting this from a Word document, I get a few other options in terms of our automated in matter. One of the things that we do is you can set up your in matter, like all the stuff that appears like in the front of the, even though it's in the front of the book, the front matter and in matter, but all that stuff can be updated automatically to all of your books that are in our system if you want. So here we've got, you can do your title page, copyright, and all that. If you have a dedication, you can put that in. The also by page is one of the ones that we will update for you if you choose. So if you don't have it, also by meaning books that are also by this author.
Okay.
And we'll update that for you across all your books. So every time you upload a new book, it gets added to your also buys, and then we'll update all the other books. So that's a fun one. And then of course we have our new release notifications, which are a way for readers to know when you got a new book out, and we can put in a little teaser for another book. So I have several in a series. If I click this, it makes me check, which book do I want to tease, and then all this stuff gets put into the book for you. You can have your author bio. I don't know why anyone would necessarily want to put a publisher bio, but that's there too. So yeah, okay. So, and then from this page, we also dropped in that if you need to, you can go back and edit your shared metadata. The shared metadata just means the metadata is being shared between both the ebook and the print book. But a lot of people were looking for how to change their cover, because at a certain point, there's no button. You can go all the way back to the first step. That's where you upload a cover. Okay. All right, so continue. There's no possible way I'm going to get through everything Draft2Digital can do. So interrupt me all you want. I'll answer any questions, but I did want to get to at least this part, because this is our the preview of the templates. And this is kind of a relatively new feature, like in the past couple of years. But if you've ever used Vellum, this is similar to Vellum. Like you can choose what your layout looks like and what options you get. So right here, we had a question about drop caps. So I can turn on drop caps, and there we go, right? And then you can cycle through all these different templates and see the one you'll like. Modern watercolor is an actual color one. The color can show up on certain, I think we may strip color in ebooks. I don't remember exactly, but you've got all of these different categories as well. There's clue, and you can get a thumbprint and all that. So these are just because we wanted to give people a little more latitude in what the book is going to look like. And then here, you can actually download these books in fully formatted MOBI and EPUB and PDF files that you can go use anywhere you want. Ostensibly, this is so that you can kind of preview it, make sure it looks the way you want, but these are full-fledged files. You can do whatever you want with them. And then, of course, we advise people to go through and check and make sure the formatting looks the way they expect it to. And if you have the print book, this formatting can carry over to that print book so that they match. So all this stuff gets done kind of on your behalf. And once you've reviewed the whole book, you hit save and continue. This should go a little faster than last time. There we go. And here is where the money stuff starts to come in. So you can set your price for the book. Let's say that I set it at $6.99. And if you need to manage territorial pricing and rights individually, you can use these tools. So I can go through and change all these. We do this for you automatically, and it's kind of a best practices thing. But if you want to lower the price somewhere, Canada is always getting, kind of shafted in price wise. So you could come here and make that $6.99 Canadian. And the same thing with the territorial rights. So some people come in and they have the right to distribute the book everywhere but North America. So you can actually toggle between include and exclude with this button. But here I'm going to say send it everywhere except for this country. Or I could say send it only to these countries and exclude these countries. It's however works best for you. And once you've got your rights selected, you hit apply rights. And that's so that if you have like a deal with a publisher, or you have a book published maybe through a hybrid press or something, and they've got North American and UK and Canadian rights, you can still distribute everywhere else. And then we give you the control to do that. And then here are our various storefronts. And down at the bottom, these are libraries. So you can either select every single storefront all at once, or some people have deals where, I can go everywhere but Kobo. So you can see the different stages of this. Or you can just individually select the ones you want. Some people use this to get to Amazon, so you can click that and you get these little options where you have to confirm, all these steps in order to be able to distribute to Amazon. That's Amazon's doing. These subscription services like Scribd and the Kobo Plus, you can only go to Kobo Plus if you are also going to Kobo. So that's why I chose Kobo, deselected Kobo up there. So these are all sort of like Netflix for books type services. The reader pays a subscription, and they can pick any book they want, and you get paid. These are your projected royalties. And Kobo Plus, it's a little different because it's a little bit like the Amazon Global Fund. The amount you get paid varies by the number of subscribers they have, which can be kind of beneficial to you. Here you can set a separate price for your library book, and you can either choose every single library, or maybe you want to turn off Hoopla because Hoopla doesn't allow price changes, and you're planning a price change and test or whatever. So you can come through and be selective about that. And then all these books, because if you do select Hoopla, by the way, whatever price you send them, that's your price for now. They don't have a way to change price because they're so used to dealing with the traditional publishers. They're working on it, but it's not there yet. So now we have a scenario where we've got all our stores picked. This is where everything is going to go. We've set all our prices, and then we hit submit, and all we have to do is verify that we're the content creator. If you select that the book is public domain, it's going to get rejected. I'm just going to let you know up front. So don't try to submit public domain books. We no longer take them because none of our retailers will take them.
Okay.
And so you can, however, have the rights secured from someone else, but you have to present documentation for that. But if you're the original content creator and you confirm all that and you hit publish, and you are golden eventually. Now, after it's published, and that little dashboard I showed you on the way in. Now here, you can see, like, if we had not done print, it would be asking me, do you want to start your print book? And we could start from here, and same thing with audio. This see ebook details, this is where we landed earlier, and you can go through each of the various things and see. We do have a promotion tab. We'll be adding things to this later, but here is where you can do things like you can get your universal book link, or UBL. And that is my favorite tool. It's this, it's a single link that can send your reader to everywhere your book is published online. And you only have to use one link. And you can actually have like affiliate accounts, like Amazon associate accounts and things like that, associated with that. So you actually make a little more money when people click and buy things. But this is where you can actually edit it. You can customize that link, because we give you like a string of characters, but you can actually customize it. Like this one would be books to read. It's on our sister site, Books to Read. So bookstoread.com/hoarding gold, for example. And then that's a nice, easy, evergreen link that you can use on ads, on printed materials, T-shirts, whatever you want. And people will always be able to find that book wherever they like to read it. So here, that's where you can do this. We have another thing called book tabs. Oops. The book tab is the kind of like a book product page. This is not going to work because it's on the alpha site. I'm sorry, but this is where you would find like the book's product page. Let me see if I can just pop one up. Let's see if this will work. I may not remember the actual URL. Yeah, it looks like it's going to work. So this is your view of this product page, but the reader will see this, and it'll have like the title, the cover. There's some special messaging and things. A lot of this stuff can be changed and customized. You get the book description, and then we have these little carousels down here that have the entire series in it. So makes it a lot easier for you to, basically helps you to promote the book.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of that kind of stuff. You can see your sales, some of your sales. You can schedule a promotion, meaning you can set up a price change, temporary price change, and set the terms for that.
And that goes across all the platforms for you?
Yeah, you can set it up. I need to remember if you can do, so it doesn't let you select like a specific platform. It's like all in. So wherever you're distributing to through us, barring, I believe, the subscription services and the libraries. So just the actual sales channels. So you could say, and it tells you the projected royalty here. So right now the price is $6.99. I get $4. So let's say I put it on sale for $2.99, and you can name the promotion. I'm going to say PWA promo, and then you can pick your start and stop dates. So on the 30th, and I'm going to go to the 7th, and then schedule it. You get some information. I didn't set any territorial prices, so that's not going to let me do it. But anyway, it would give you your new projected royalty. And here's the promo over here. You can edit it and everything. You can do multiples as well, so pretty handy.
Yeah.
And that's the basics of ebook. So, and there's tons more, but there's no way I could get through all of it. But we do have a YouTube channel filled with walkthrough videos with a very familiar voice narrating them.
Okay, I will. I'll include that in the link tomorrow with the replay of this.
Okay.
I'll include the link to the YouTube page. Okay, so we've got some questions. That's sort of like the basics.
Yeah.
Somebody says, is there support if I get stuck? But you said there's loads, yeah?
In a lot, if you Google Draft2Digital and support, you will find nothing but glowing reviews of how we help authors. We've kind of become known as author support on the internet. We actually have sometimes people who come to us trying to get us to solve problems, and they don't distribute through us. So we can't do that. But if you are distributing through us, we are pretty quick on the intake. We'll help you solve that problem. That's kind of probably our actual product is the customer support.
Is the support, yeah. Yeah, great. So Barbara says, do authors need to copyright their books first?
This is going to be an entirely personal decision. You, in the United States at least, and I believe in most countries worldwide, you actually own your copyright by default. You can register your copyright. In the US, that's with the Library of Congress. There are fees associated with it. It's not very much, but for the most part, you actually do own your copyright. And I don't. I've only copyrighted maybe 3 manuscripts in my life. I have 50 plus novels available right now, because it's fairly easy to demonstrate that you do actually own the copyright for your book.
Mm.
You know, if there's ever a question about it, it's usually resolved pretty quickly by just demonstrating that you published it first or whatever. But that said, some people just feel much safer having it, and there's no harm to having it. And you certainly do own your copyright at that point. So, and you can demonstrate it. So it's going to be up to you.
Okay, great. A couple of people have, David Phillips has just said that he can vouch that that Draft2Digital support is amazing. Thanks, David.
Oh, thank you. It's always easier to let other people say it.
Yeah, exactly. And someone else said Joanna Penn is always recommending you too. So
Yeah, Joanna is one of our favorite people, one of my favorite people, and she and I have a great relationship. If you listen to the Creative Pen podcast, you will periodically hear an ad for Draft2Digital with yet another familiar voice. So.
Cool. Okay. So a couple people are asking about the UBL again. Is this an automatic feature, or is this something I need to click on? What is it?
So it is automatically generated for you, but you don't actually have to use our service to. Let me make sure I do this on the server. You don't actually have to use our service in order to get a universal book link. So again, this is on staging, so skip that part. But if you were to go to books2read.com, you'd land here, and you could log in with your Draft2Digital account if you already have one, or you can create an account of your own. But you can come to the UBL dashboard, and these are all the universal book links that you would have already generated if you have an account. But the way this works is, if I have a book, let's see. Oh yeah, okay, I skipped a step. So if I have a URL, let me go to Amazon and grab one. So let's just pick one of my books, just because I'm a big self-promoter. So this is the new one, by the way. Okay, so come here, grab the URL right out of that URL bar, and paste it right here, and then hit make my universal link. And our little gremlins get to work. So automatically you end up with this one. This is skipping the staging part, because that's how it's generating it here. But this is the actual UBL. So I could copy that and put it into, this may not work because this is staging. Let me try it. Okay, so this is what would happen when someone clicks on your UBL. They would get an offer of everywhere this book is available online, and then they could click their store. So if I click Amazon,
it's like a personal landing page that will then direct people to all the different stores.
But when a reader clicks it, they can see down here, it says set preferred store to whichever one they clicked, right? So if I left that box checked, every time I clicked a universal book link, it would take me directly to the sales page for that book on Amazon. So there's only that one intermediary step, but the power of this is just amazing, because once the book is populating elsewhere, you can always come back and rescan and add stores. You can add a stored link directly, but here you can actually customize this book. So what was it? God Resurrection. So I can actually customize it. I like to use the book's name if I can, or a truncated version of it, and then you come up here and you see that it changed to that URL. So it's a lot easier to remember.
That's very cool. Yeah, instead of a random list of numbers.
Exactly. So, and then down here you can say, you can add affiliate codes. So when we do affiliates, you can add your affiliate code from all these different vendors, including our competitor Smashwords, which we just think is hilarious. But Walmart ebooks. So if you're an affiliate for any of these guys, you can make a little extra money when people click on the link and buy something, even if they didn't buy your book. This service is, like a lot of our services, you don't have to use us at all to use this. And you don't even have to do only your books. I could have put in a URL for any book. And there are other features. Let me get back to this dashboard because we have, actually, right here it is. So we have this thing called reading lists, where you can actually create a reading list, and it has a little carousel. Let's see if I've got one I can play with here. So you can come here and you can design it, choose a header or whatever. And let me see if I can remember mine. Books to read. I have several, but let me see if I can remember at least one of them. RL, and I think it's thriller cart. So I created, if this loads, fingers crossed. Okay, so this is, go to reader view here. So this is a one of our reading lists, and you can come in, and if you have just a single book, you can do a whole little featured section. All this is editable. Like I can change this copy, I can create new links. Then here, these are customizable carousels. And what I did was create a reading list that has like themes. So here are books that are all themed around cold. Here's books themed around Atlantis. Here's books that are themed about the Mayans. And then down here, I've got, this is my archaeological thriller series. So I've got a write-up about it and a customized carousel. And when people click on these, it takes them to that that book's book tab, which is our version of a product page. Mm-hmm. And they can buy the book from here. And clicking this takes them actually to the book's universal book link where they can choose the store they prefer. So you see how it all kind of comes together.
Yeah,
right?
it all.
So we have all that, and we also offer what we call our author pages, which I believe I can get to through this link. So this is a similar deal where if you happen to not have a website, you could use this as your website if you wanted, or if you just want to have a separate author page on your homepage, you could link to this. But like you get your headshot, your name, here's all your social media links. You can actually have your mailing list link here. So if people want to sign up to get on your mailing list, this is like the latest. I need to actually change this to my new pre-order, but this is like the latest book where people can find it, carousels for all your books. You can see all the different series that I've written. You get a lot of control over this. So these are all tools built around, it's sort of our sister site, books2read.com, and the universal book links power all this stuff. Okay,
let me try and get through a few more here. Somebody
I'm a talker. I should have warned you.
No, it's great. We've only got 47 questions to get through in the next 10 minutes.
Right, let's go. Let's do it.
Somebody said if they want to have their book loaded for free, can you do that? And if so, how does Draft2Digital make any money?
We don't make any money off of it, but you can do it. You can actually upload your book and set the price for free everywhere but Amazon. Amazon won't let you do free no matter what, but they will price match to free. So what you would do is upload your book, set it all up, set the price to free. Amazon would set it at, if you're going to use us for Amazon, they'll set it at 99 cents. And then you reach out to Amazon and point out to them that this book's free everywhere else, and you're charging 99 cents, and then they'll change the price to zero. So we don't make any money on that, but we allow you to do it because, one, it's your book, you do what you want. But two, what we're hoping is that book makes you really wildly famous, and you print more books through us, and then we can start making money.
Yeah. Put you on the path.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see. So somebody else had asked if they upload their book and then make some changes, want a new version, how easy is it to replace the content after the fact?
It's ridiculously easy. It does take a couple of days for it to sort of propagate to all the retailers, and in the real speed really is determined by the retailers themselves. Most do pretty well. Most you can have it up, sometimes even within 24 hours. But we generally ask people to give us at least 48 hours to see it. because there are retailers out there who are still a little slow on that sort of thing. But
Okay.
yeah,
And is
really
that the
easy.
same for all the metadata and everything? If you want to make changes or a new cover or anything,
Easy peasy.
that can all just be pushed right out. Okay.
Yeah, you log in here. You would log in and come to My Books, just like we did here. And then, I think it went to sleep on me again. But you would basically, you could pop into this little section and click on the various steps and go edit whatever you need. This server likes to fall asleep. This is not the way the site works.
Yeah, that's the problem with staging areas, isn't it? Yeah. Kevin warned me in advance that it may be slower than usual. So don't hold it against the system. Is there a minimum word count if somebody is just doing something short?
Yes. Well, for ebooks, not necessarily. Let me think about that. I don't believe that there's necessarily a minimum word count for ebooks, because I believe, you can actually, and I've used it for this, you can actually upload your short stories as ebooks. So some people do that and set them to free as a sort of lead magnet to get people interested in a series. So there may be a minimum word count, but if there is, it's going to be something pretty small in ebooks. On print, I believe that the smallest may be in like 20 to 30,000 word range, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
I have to triple check that. It could be a completely different number, but.
Okay, we won't hold you to it, but that's a ballpark.
Right. There you go, ballpark.
Imogen's got a tough question for you. She says, if it's a toss between Draft2Digital and Ingram Sparks, pitch her. What's one sentence why she should choose you over them?
Well, for one reason, we don't charge any setup fees or anything, which I believe Ingram Spark does. We don't charge change fees. You can change your book up as much as you want. But also, we can work in tandem with Ingram Spark. There's really no reason to choose one over the other. Ingram Spark's, their PLD service is kind of notably one of the go-to services online. We have the exact same identical service with our limitations on ours is that we don't offer as many size formats as they do, but we offer all the ones that are standard to the industry. But other than that, it's really up to you. Some people prefer Ingram Spark, and we're fine with that. We can handle your ebooks though if you want to save some money.
Nice, great.
You don't have to use us for anything. We're good.
I love that attitude of like, we're here, use this if you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just before we've only got 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna drop all of the links again in the chat, so in case anybody wants them, because they always disappear right at the end. Imogen says that was a good answer, but it was a very long single sentence. Which is true.
Oh, that's true. I didn't do it right. Do what you want. Period.
Okay, so just let's see if we can get through a couple more in the last 5 minutes. Do you only collect a percentage of royalties, or can an author pay for a one-time package for distribution services?
We only collect on a percentage on royalties. We don't offer any sort of paid packages.
Okay. Do you offer any advice around setting the price?
Yes, my advice is go and look at books that are similar to yours in the same category. Amazon is a great tool for this, and find out what the average price is for books just like yours. That's where I would start with pricing.
Okay. Jeffrey says, what is the approximate cost for a print book?
So the printer determines that based on a number of factors. So it's hard to give an exact answer. But in general, I found that the author copy of the book is like in the $3 to $5 range usually. Usually closer to $3 most of the time. But yeah, it does vary depending on the trim size you chose and the page count, and a few other factors too. But yeah.
Okay. So cover design, there's a few questions about cover design. What is the best size, and do you do any help with that, or is everyone responsible for their own cover design?
You have to bring in your cover. We don't have an ebook cover design tool. We do have an ebook to print conversion tool that's free. So if you only have the ebook cover, we can convert it to a print ready cover, the full bleed cover for you automatically, which I did not get to show you, but that's a really cool feature. I feel like I want to loop back just a second though, because on the question about cost for print, we don't charge you that. That comes out of the sale, unless you want to order author copies, and then you would pay it. But otherwise, you don't pay anything to go to print for your readers.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that was known.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and a couple of people are just asking you what are the fees again? So what are the royalties that you guys take?
So whatever you set your price at for the retailer, when the book sells, we take 15% of the royalty that you get. So
15% of the royalty, not of
not of the cover price, no. So so in general, the retailers will give you generally anywhere from 40 to 70%, right? And then we'll take 15% off that.
Okay, that sounds good. So we're basically out of time. Someone here wants to know if you're going to be playing the drums. Kirk wants to know if you're going to finish off with a drum solo.
I don't want to work. I just want to bang on the drums all day. So this is my father-in-law's drum set. I'll play them, but it won't sound like music.
But it won't be great. Fair enough. Okay, I think we need to end there. We're down to 1 more minute. So thank you so much, Kevin. Do you want to leave us with any last thoughts?
If you got any further questions, I know this was a quick, dirty kind of run through, but we got plenty of other material, and we're happy to answer questions. So just pop over to draft2digital.com and hit the little support button and ask anything you want.
Okay, awesome. And for everybody that's here, don't forget to check out tomorrow's session with literary agent Yasmin Kane. So all of that information is on our events page. And Kevin, have a look at the chat, because there's tons of people saying thank you so much, that they found it really informative. So, and it's 8 o'clock. We need to go in the UK at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. We go and clap for all the healthcare providers. So I can see a couple of people in the UK have to go out and bang some pots and pans. So that's where I'm headed right now.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. See you next time. Bye.